afternoon, good evening. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to the Wealthy Lala show with myself, Laurie Laursen. Today is episode 219. I got in my email today. I don't know if you guys have heard of Brian Andreas, Andreas. You can go Google his images. He's got all different kinds of really neat sayings, random kind of funky drawings. And I get his emails, probably not daily, but once or twice a week or something. And in his email today, he had a picture, and it says, so this is one of the things he's written, just a second here. Someone asked me yesterday how to live an extraordinary life, and I said, I had no idea, because I always thought it was more interesting to live an ordinary life and not miss a second of it. So I kind of wanted to talk about that today, because I got really, there's a lot of push out there that to live. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with living an extraordinary life. But what we've done, though, a lot of times is we've taken that word extraordinary and meant that has to be something big and famous. So you have to have an extraordinary life would have to be, being a famous coach or speaker or basketball player or hockey star, or you got to be the CEO of a company, or just whatever it is, right? And I made myself very wrong for a long time that I wasn't creating more of whatever I thought I should be creating. And what I was missing while I was doing that, hoping, wishing, dreaming for something that was bigger than what I was creating, was that I was actually missing the ordinary life. I was missing it. And I'd love to invite people into being more present with their lives and being more aware. And I'm sure everyone knows people in their lives that are, even we do it kind of without even thinking, it's like, oh, she's got such long fingernails, people will say of my granddaughter, maybe she'll play the piano, but it's usually a famous, and please don't make yourself wrong if you've done this before. I actually saw a woman post on Facebook. She's a white woman, and she had a son with a man who was black. So her son looks mostly black, and he appears to be a tall boy. And I guess people they often say, oh, are you going to be a basketball player? And she was really quite upset by that. She was quite bothered by the assumption that people would just sort of assume that. Now, what was really interesting is I was drawn to then read the thread of other comments that people put on there. And it was, it went to both sides. And I was really grateful because it was a black man had come on there, and African-American, whatever the proper term is, commented on there about the prejudice that he'll come from in the fact he's a great basketball player. So people just assume it's because of his body and his genes. Anyways, I get you guys. I guess I can imagine that you guys actually get where I'm going with this, that there's so many different ways to look at this, not just one. And we gather information from other people. And it was really neat to see how people were like, I've actually done that before, and I really actually didn't mean anything by it. And a lot of times we don't realize the things that we say, how they come across, how they can project onto people. And, it'd be so interesting if we were able to be so much more aware and present with the things that we're saying to people. And I loved too, because this mom, she was a mama bear, she's thinking of her son. And I loved that someone else said to her, and I wonder, like, can you coach him as to how to respond to it? Because you know what? As parents, we're never going to be able to protect our kids from everything. And getting offended about it is just information. So if we're feeling offended, defensive, angry, frustrated, sad, whatever, it's just information. And so what if it is to teach our kids, okay, you're going to run into people that are going to have opinions and thoughts and projections of you, and how well do you know you? And let them know. You'd be like, oh, basketball. I guess there is a lot of Black people or whatever you'd want to say that play basketball, but I actually love painting. Maybe one day I'll play it. But I do love sports, or something like we could teach that awareness for ourselves, because there's a lot of people, including myself. I was on the phone with someone earlier today, and I caught myself in a couple where I was going right away to conclusions without realizing that I was, and I caught it, and or she caught it, and then we're like, okay, there we go. Like, it's just so easy. We're so ingrained. And we were just talking more about question. So anyways, like, going back to sort of where I started was, that thing someone asked me yesterday, how to live an extraordinary life. And I said I had no idea, because I thought it was more interesting to live an ordinary life and not miss a second of it. And, actually, that's really interesting, because thinking about that mama bear and her son and the different comments that people wrote, if we just go into that sort of outwardly success kind of assumption that it's better if you're a famous basketball player, it's better if you're a famous coach, it's better if you're on stages, it's better if you're on TV, well, then we miss all of what some of us are intended to be in different ways. So whether it's me doing this podcast, whether it's, me being the LaLa that I am, grandma, it's a conversation that we have with someone in the grocery store. Like I told you the other day, when I magically, it was incidences that coincided for me and a girlfriend to meet at a restaurant that I rarely go to, even though it's 10 minutes away. And like I looked at that after, and I realized how incredibly extraordinary that was, that her and I met. And yet it was just for her and I. And there was I think I might have even said this on Monday's show, but there was an older lady that was enjoying us enjoying each other. And I could see that that was just one of those ordinary things where you're sitting there, you're in a restaurant, you're in a mall, you're walking down the street, and you look and you see someone enjoying their life, and you get those warm fuzzies too and enjoy your life. Like, those things aren't the things that are on the front page of the news. And I wonder how much more we could allow ourselves to appreciate those day-to-day things, that we've got a few hours to ourselves. Like, even kind of how we take away from those moments, like, rather than, oh, isn't this awesome? I've got a couple hours to myself, instead of, oh God, I only get a couple hours to myself today, or I've got to go to work today. Wow. But look at how, I get a paycheck from that. And that affords me to have this beautiful house that I'm living in. And I get to visit with these people while I'm there. And I love the social aspect of it. And it allows me freedom with my kids. And I'm so grateful that I can like for today, it's raining here, right? So you could be like, well, geez, it's raining. I can't go outside. Oh my gosh, thank gosh. Look at how beautiful it's raining. It's such a nice light rain. The trees look so green and they're flourishing. And I know I'm grateful because we have crops, and, the crops are certainly loving this rain. And the garden that we planted a couple of weeks ago is definitely enjoying it. And I wonder how much more we could bring in the extraordinary into our ordinary life. I like my one energetic priority title for this year, Majestically Delicious. And that doesn't mean that I'm a king or a queen of something that other people then validate and acknowledge that I'm famous for, but that my life is magically delicious to me. Yeah. Like if our lives were that, if we were able to look so much more, like even when I talked about the shower the other day, and there was one person, and luckily I was so willing to have an open mind and see that the person was actually teasing me, whereas I was used to reacting and taking it personally. I was so grateful that I allowed myself to have a different perspective, and in the beginning I still reacted within myself. And I allowed myself to go, there's one person here that I'm reacting to, and there's 44 others or something. I don't know how many were there. It was around that number. I'm not. What am I going to pick to choose on, or to focus on? Like, really? And what is so extraordinary about the ordinary in my life? I have a comfortable chair to sit on right now. My house is heated. Well, technically the air conditioning's on right now, but not too high because it is cooler outside today. I have an abundance of books to read. I have, even like you could look at Facebook. So many people complain at Facebook. Do you know that you can actually hide people that are negative on your Facebook? Do you guys know you can do that? You can hide their feeds for a month. You can hide their posts for until you decide. You can unfollow them. Doesn't mean you unfriend them. You just unfollow them. You don't have to see that stuff. That's a choice too. And I've actually done that. I've, hidden, and then I've also actually even started, because for a while there, I had so many friends from this large group of classes that I took, ones that contributed so much to me before, and I had a lot of people that it was great at the time to be connected with, and now I desire something and require something different. So I've actually been either unfriending, I've been hiding, I've been unfollowing. And when I go on Facebook, I bet you 99% of what I see is stuff that creates greater for me in my life. It's true. And you can create that for yourself. Like, it's so beautiful to be able to have that choice. I like it. So what else in your world? And I know for myself, like I really did struggle at first, and I still do, like when I'm getting into a funky place, if I'm tired, or say my body's hurting, or say that I've had an argument or I'm upset with someone. Oh boy, those are those moments when it's a little hard to find the extraordinary out of the ordinary. I just want to be like, grr, on whatever I'm focusing on. And what I then do is just take little by little. Okay, what can I be grateful for? What can I let myself receive right now? And let myself start there. And I'm going to see if I can find, I'm just going to look at my big thing of cards here, if I can find one of my decks of cards that are from Abraham Hicks. Oh, here's one. No, I don't think that's one. Shoot. I'm going to end up making it. Oh, here's one. Okay. So I like this because when I've listened to Abraham, they talk about it. You know, you take one of their decks of cards and you can start reading what they've written on it. And if you find that you can't receive it, like it's annoying you, it's just showing you just where you're at energetically. And you can also, so it means just start more general. Start with something that you can be grateful for, you know, or go take a nap or go watch a funny video. Let yourself change your energy just to give yourself some relief. But see, this is some of the cards. When you give attention to something you desire and say yes to it, you are including it in your vibration. But when you look at something you do not want and say no to it, you are including that in your vibration. You cannot exclude anything that you are giving your attention to. So this is why you want to change your perspective. Now that was a cool, interesting card. And where did I'm looking for my abundance one. Oh my God, look at this again. Like, isn't this so funny that I picked a totally different deck of theirs up and it says, the card that popped out, when you give your attention to something, your potential for attracting it is increased. The more vivid the details, the more likely you are to attract it into your experience. And so any negative emotion you feel while observing something is your indication that you're negatively attracting. Well, apparently that was meant to be a very large message for today. So just for us to really notice like what you are focusing on, and if you notice yourself focusing on something or you're feeling heavy and negative in your body, know that that's actually the road you're going down. That's where you're going to start to create. That's when create from. And if you want to choose something different, you have to. You have to. You just have to. I mean, you never have to. But if you want to create something different, you have to change your thoughts and whatever. Okay, people, we are already at way past time. So have a great day. Look forward to tomorrow. We're going to talk about the It's Not Your Money book again. Okay, take care. thewealthylala@gmail.com.